Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today we're covering the beginner's guide to Goku's lineage via the Goku Jr. leader. This is coming out in set 13, but if you were able to make it to a set 13 pre-release, you should have already gotten your hands on this leader. We haven't done much content talking about this leader. We've talked about yellow stuff in set 13 quite a bit, but we haven't really gotten to this leader because he is pretty standalone. We were talking about both yellow and Goku's lineage, but I thought this video would be a good thing to do because I feel like there are some really beginner-friendly ways to build this leader, and I feel like this just incorporates a lot of very simple things in Dragon Ball that can definitely be expanded upon if you want to get a bit more competitive with this deck and this leader. And overall, I'll be giving my thoughts on this leader, this archetype, giving some sample deck lists, some sample ideas, things of that nature. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a video. And if you guys want to help support the channel and you want to get more competitive if you're a beginner or maybe intermediate player, check out the Patreon down in the description below. You can read the articles there to see where my head's at competitively. You can also inquire about some coaching. That being said, let's get started. Quick overview of the leader. So on the unawakened side, when this card attacks, look at top 5 and add up to 1 Goku's lineage from your deck to your hand. And then activate main. This is where a lot of the power comes from. Once per turn, place a card in your life in your drop area. Then play a Goku's lineage from your hand with an energy cost of 2 or less. So general statement, when you're looking at yellow, at least at the time of posting this video in modern Dragon Ball Super, Mecha Frieza is definitely the gold standard for generic yellow good stuff. So I say that to say, if you're going to play some other yellow strategy, whether it be this or Kid Gohan, if you see me experiment with that on the channel, you're looking for unique and powerful things that yellow strategy offers you that Mecha Frieza doesn't, right? So this right here is one of those things. You play battle cards for free, so that opens up the door to free play, maybe some rush strategies. We'll talk about that more when we see the battle cards you can play off of this. You're awaken, untap 1, draw 1. On your backside, you get critical if you have 2 other Goku's lineage battle cards in play. Attack, draw a card, gain 5k. And then activate main once per turn. You could pay 3 energy if you have 4 or more cards in your hand. You choose 1 card in your hand and up to 1 Goku's lineage card with energy cost 3 or less in your drop area and place them on top of your deck in any order. Then you can play a Goku's lineage card with an energy cost of 8 in your hand. The Goku Unison that comes with a pre-release kit is a 1-cost Unison. When this card's played, the top 3 cards of your deck, add a Goku's lineage. Auto once per turn, and one of your Goku's lineage battle cards activates a swap skill, add a marker to this card. And then -3, you can play a Goku's lineage with a cost of 5 or less. So this can enable some pretty cool things where, like, turn 1, for instance, you can play the Unison, then you can use the leader skill to free play a 1-drop Goku's lineage, activate swap to go into another Goku's lineage. That'll put 2 markers on this thing. And then if you have another copy of the Unison, due to the Unison mechanic, you can put that extra copy of the Unison under your existing Unison on the field and then use that -3 in one shot. So that's a cool way where you can kind of get some extra free play going, but it is a bit costly on the hand because you are in a sense discarding a card to then free play another battle card. But it is nice that the initial Unison you play does replace itself as long as you play a sufficient number of Goku's lineage cards. But anyways, moving along here, the big hype that was surrounding the strategy just a few months ago was this like turn 2 potential victory strike combo. If you are brand new to the game and don't know what victory strike does, you can read it here on the screen. Basically, if it deals damage, you automatically win that game. This is not a card you will be concerning yourself with at all if you're a newer player, at least in terms of playing it. It's good to know what it does though in case you come across it. But what Bandai did was, going into set 13, they added Son Goku Hope of Universe 7 to the limited list. You can only play 1 copy in your deck now. So technically this turn 2 victory strike combo is still possible, but it's super unlikely that anyone will ever pull it off. And if someone's aiming to pull it off, they're probably going to play Shenron or Cell Surge leader. They probably won't play the Goku Jr. lineage leader, but I figured I would still mention it because it was a big cause of hype surrounding the strategy. If you guys really want to know more about that combo, I do have a video from about a month or 2 ago explaining how the combo works. And again, it still does work, but with only 1 copy of Hope of U7, it is far less consistent. So realistically, probably not something you need to worry yourself with, but this was the general these are the general cards needed for the combo. Again, I do have a video explaining it if you want to check it out. Anyways, moving along here with this leader, again, like I mentioned before, comparing to Mecha Frieza, you want to see where this leader offers you some unique stuff. So we talked about that free play ability. Successor of Hope is a card you'll definitely want to include in this deck because you're playing a bunch of Goku's lineage cards, so having a 0-cost extra card to filter out your deck and increase consistency is great. Plucky Dynasty Pan. You do have other super combo options like Zamasu Sacred Disbelief or Krillin Moments Before Comeback. Both of those are very strong in what they do. Zamasu tapping cards and Krillin giving you additional draw power over Plucky Dynasty Pan. But we know that searchable super combos are still strong, even if they only draw one card as opposed to drawing two. And we saw that with like King Piccolo, right? Most successful King Piccolo lists play a very simple Piccolo draw one super combo, but it's searchable in that strategy. So these are some of the unique things to this deck. And coming out in set 13 is Power of a Super Saiyan, one of the most powerful generic yellow extra cards we've ever seen in the game. So I just wanted to mention it, that it's probably going to be a card you're going to want to pick up if you're, looking into things coming out in set 13. Power of a Super Saiyan is a card you'll definitely want to include. Not necessarily, specific to Goku Jr., but it's a card you'll want to have if you're planning on playing yellow in pretty much any capacity. Moving along here, though, we mentioned the leader's backside skill of being able to play an 8-cost Goku's Lineage. Height of Mastery is the main one you can play. There is also a Goku Jr. SCR, which probably is pretty cheap, so it might be a decent option if you're really looking to play on a budget, but it's not going to be one of the stronger cards you're able to play. Height of Mastery, very cheap. It's been reprinted a few times, so it's going to be easy to access, and it's a pretty beastly card. Now, you got to keep in mind, when you play this card off your leader's awakened skill, you unfortunately don't get the auto effect, which taps down your opponent's energy and or battle cards. That effect requires you to play it via swap. So you still do get a very big triple strike dual attacking battle card with that skill. You just don't quite get the full effects of it. And if you do happen to own Son Goku the Awakened Power, whether you luckily pulled it in a pack or maybe you're a collector and you want to play Goku the Awakened Power, you can evolve it over Height of Mastery Goku. That turn 4 play only costs 3 energy, so it does give you 1 energy available to play Height of Mastery. But to be quite honest, it's kind of anti-synergistic because Goku the Awakened Power Victory Strike does best when you never have to attack your opponent. That's why I mentioned before people will probably play it in Shenron or Cell Surge, where you literally never have to attack your opponent. In this deck, you do have to attack them, and a lot of times you'll probably have to attack their life. So with that in mind, Goku Victory Strike is probably going to be a little bit anti-synergistic. But anyways, moving along to a strategy that I think will actually work quite nicely with the deck. Back in the day, if you guys are a newer player, you may have never heard, or you may have only heard inklings of Storm. This is a strategy that dominated the game for so long because it was so powerful and so aggressive. Nowadays, even if Storm was at full power, and there are some cards on the ban list that prevent that from being at full power, it's arguable that it wouldn't be nearly as strong as it was in the game's past because we do have a lot more powerful defensive cards. But I do think this leader offers some really unique, powerful things to that strategy. Once again, looking for things that make this deck different and unique and powerful compared to Mecha Frieza. You have your ability to play Scrambling Assault Son Goten for free. When he attacks, you'll get top 3, add any card. That is still a very powerful effect. And then Goku, even further beyond, kind of mimics Legendary Flute, which was a card that allowed you to bring Goten back to your hand. S3 Goku has a similar effect, although it costs an energy. That's not really too bad, though, considering that you probably played the Scrambling Assault for free. So you pay 1, you bring Scrambling Assault back to your hand. Now you have a 15k barrier battle card to continue attacking. And then Pan the Courageous Youth is another card that came out in Evolution Booster. This is one of the sets that did heavily boost the playability of a lot of these strategies for Goku's Lineage. So you could swap 5 into Pan the Courageous Youth, which will help you play more battle cards. But with that in mind, I did want to show you guys a sample deck list of a very simple, just full-out aggressive Goku's Lineage swap list, right? So, for instance, here we have Vegeta, Ultimate Fury as kind of like our top end. This would be a card you could use as a floodgate, but also, to end games if the situation arose. Then you have Force Sister of Hope, like I mentioned before, to search out a lot of your deck that includes swap. You have Heroine's Lineage as a good budget SCR. If you already had Cell Xeno or maybe Spring Kai of Time, Space Time Unraveler, you could definitely play those for sure. Heroine's Lineage is going to be a fine addition to this deck, though, because it's a great budget alternative, and it's just one of the most powerful SCRs in the format. And you could even go SCR lists if you are a beginner to the game. You have your 3 Adopted Father. For 1 energy, you can go into your Scrambling Assaults or your Dependable Dynasty Gokus just to put that pressure on and be aggressive. We are running a super combo split of Krillin and Pan. 4 Pan could easily be the move, but I figured since you can search 2 of them, and maybe if you naturally draw some Krillins, that could offer you some well-needed draw power. Son Goku the Rescuer is a cool blue card that you can play for free when a skill is activated that brings a card back to your hand, and swap does exactly that, so that works out. And then you've got some Overwhelm to be a little bit more aggressive, and with Power of Super Saiyan, you have the free playability of Bergamo Ferocious Roar, which luckily has been reprinted, which is kind of nice, so it's a bit more accessible. This is a sample list. You can obviously make changes, make edits to, you know, play it however you see fit, but I figured this would be a cool little sample list to show you guys as a beginner's guide. Moving along, I think there is another way you can play the deck, possibly with blue yellow good stuff. Now, I've just taken a lot of yellow decks that aren't Mecha Frieza and applied this logic to them. I've done that with Future Gohan, done that with Kid Gohan Skillless, and it does work out pretty well. I saw a lot of success with it with Skillless Gohan, so maybe that could be something that works here, but then you have to cut a card like S3 Goku even further beyond because that requires all mono yellow energy. To be fair though, you wouldn't have to charge blue yellows in this deck, so this is something that I would definitely recommend you mess around with if you really got comfortable with the original base version of the Goku's Lineage deck and you feel like you have some neat idea to contribute, maybe something like a Zamasu and Violent Rush Bojack and Goku Hit Supreme Alliance engine, something small on the blue yellows where you're getting additional value from playing those cards. But anyways, I hope you guys got something useful out of this beginner's guide for Goku's Lineage. If you're more intermediate, let us know in the comments below. Let us know what you're doing Goku's Lineage. If you're a beginner, of course, feel free to ask questions. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.